In Yellowstone, the ground isn't sleeping. Beneath your feet, the planet is awake, building pressure for a moment you can't look away from.
The journey begins with a sign and ends with a landscape that feels impossible.
Yellowstone reveals itself in layers. Forest first, then steam, then the strange colors of heat.
Here, weather and geology blur. Steam looks like clouds born from the earth.
Yellowstone is wild, but Old Faithful runs on a schedule you can feel.
In geothermal country, the safe path is part of the experience. Wood over heat.
It starts quietly, small signals before the big release.
Everyone waits together, like a theater, but the stage is the planet.
And then it happens. Pressure becomes a skyline.
For a few minutes, Yellowstone draws a line between Earth and sky.
The finale isn't a bang, it's a fade into breath.
Old Faithful is famous, but it's only one voice in a whole geothermal choir.
The ground records every eruption like rings in a tree.
Some features don't explode, they simply breathe.
In Yellowstone, even quiet looks dramatic.
Light becomes visible here, painted onto steam. Color here isn't decoration, it's chemistry.
Yellowstone is beautiful, but it demands respect in simple ways.
Hot springs, cold rivers, and one road threading it all together.
Some places look like weather until you realize it's coming from the ground.
The best view asks for effort, and Yellowstone always rewards it.
It doesn't look real, like color spilled across the earth on purpose.
The spring changes every second, painted and erased by vapor.
Life finds a way, even in heat that would end most things.
You walk through a landscape that feels unfinished, still forming. When the steam fades, the scale returns, valleys wide enough to swallow sound. Yellowstone's wildlife isn't staged. These are residents, not attractions. The valley wakes up slowly, hoof steps, breath, and distance.
Yellowstone is full of mirrors. Water, steam, and sky repeating each other.
The stillness is its own kind of power. Calm, alert, unbothered. Between the big landmarks, Yellowstone's quiet scenes fill the story. In Lamar, patience is the ticket. Wildlife appears on its own terms.
The wild is often far away. Seeing it means slowing down.
Sometimes Yellowstone offers only a hint, and the hint is enough. Speed lives here, built into bodies shaped by wide horizons. Driving Yellowstone is part of the film. Every turn changes the scene. The park isn't just heat and steam, it's also a cold, vast inland sea. Yellowstone changes temperature, texture, and mood in a single mile.
Old Faithful isn't famous because it's the biggest. It's famous because it turns geology into a promise, again and again, right in front of you.
Here, hot water and cold water share the same frame without apology.
The air feels layered, lake cold, spring warm, and wind stitching them together. Yellowstone's sounds aren't always loud. Sometimes they're wet and strange. The palette shifts again. Yellow, gray, white, and the smell of minerals in the air. Yellowstone also carves, water turning rock into a cathedral. The sound hits you first, then the scale. Some views become icons because they look like they were designed.
The park's energy isn't only underground. Water carries it forward.
Norris feels raw, like the park is showing you its engine room.
Visibility comes and goes. Yellowstone decides what you're allowed to see. The color is calm, but the heat beneath it is anything but.
Mammoth looks like frozen waterfalls, built from stone and time.
The smallest flow leaves the biggest pattern, over years, not minutes.
It feels like walking through a sculpture that's still being carved.
In golden hour, even stone looks like it's breathing.
Yellowstone isn't a single site. It's a region with its own rhythm. As light falls, the park feels larger and quieter. Yellowstone's wildlife becomes mythology at the edge of daylight. When the crowds sleep, the park keeps working. Quiet heat under cold stars.
Yellowstone mornings reset the world. Cold, clean, and bright.
The valley is a living map. Water lines, animal trails, and changing light.
Even the sky feels occupied here. Every layer has life.
The schedule makes it approachable, yet the power behind it stays wild.
Not every eruption is famous, but each one feels like the earth speaking.
Yellowstone is too big to finish. You choose a chapter and walk it.
The park isn't only a spectacle, it's a lesson in how Earth works.
Planning here feels like charting another planet, except it's all real.
Sometimes the best wildlife moment is the one you don't force, just watch. Heat reshapes everything. Even tiny streams become paintings.
The park's water writes its own weather on the trees.
Yellowstone's history is stacked, layer on layer, visible like pages. Wide spaces don't need action. They create their own tension. Up close, it's not a symbol. It's an animal built for winter and distance. The best wildlife etiquette is simple. Give space, stay calm, and let the scene be theirs.
Heat rises, light falls, and Yellowstone feels like a living mood.
Even at night, the ground sends signals upward. Yellowstone mornings don't rush you. They pull you outside with quiet curiosity. The more you see, the more you realize Yellowstone never repeats itself. Zoom in, and the park becomes a world inside a world. Leaving Yellowstone feels like waking up from a vivid dream.
You take a souvenir, but the real souvenir is how the park changed your sense of scale.
Even far away, Yellowstone's signature is visible. Steam rising into the sky. The icons are real, but what stays is the feeling. Heat, distance, and wildness.
Yellowstone doesn't end at the gate. It echoes in simple things like wind and light.
When the crowd disappears, the park feels even more alive. Yellowstone's simplest moment is still a reminder. The Earth is active, always.
Yellowstone isn't just a place you visit. It's a reminder that our world is still being made.